Hey, so in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use Claude to scrape TikTok videos and find hook ideas and pain points and other copy in your ads and your marketing, depending on what product you're selling. So first, I'm going to show you how this works, and then I'll show you how to set it up step by step. So I'm just going to paste in a prompt here, and I'm going to say, use the TikTok scraper to scrape 10 TikTok videos about anti-aging skincare, analyze the pain points, the product claims, and the emotional drivers, and pull out any high-performing hooks or standout comments. So you can optimize this prompt however you want. I'm going to hit send. And what Claude is going to do is I have hooked it up to an Apify scraper. I'll talk about that later on, exactly what that means. And you can see it's accessing this tool. So I've basically given Claude access to a tool. In this case, it's a tool that goes out, or a scraper that goes out and scrapes TikTok videos. So it's able to get the transcript of the video, the engagement metrics of the video. And you can see right now it's successfully scraped those videos. And now it's going to look at the data, right? So here it's pulling in the text, it's pulling in the engagement metrics, and it's going to do that for 10 videos. Now, this may take a minute or two, and I'm probably going to pause the video. But after it's done scraping this content, it's going to provide a report about the hooks, the pain points, and the other items that I asked about. All right, now it's moved on to the second part of the analysis. So the first part, it was scraping, and now it's extracting. So you can see this is what I've asked for: pain points, product claims, emotional drivers, hooks and phrases. So it's taking in the transcripts of those videos, and it's going to try to put these all together under certain buckets. So you can see we've got aging, over 40, lack of skin, radiance, and glow. So it's kind of pulling in all of these keywords and themes. All right, so now you can see it's finished the analysis. That did take a couple of minutes. I just paused the video. And now it's writing the report, right? So we've got the user pain points, we've got the top product claims, the emotional drivers, some high-performing hook phrases. It even comes up with the top products and ingredients that are mentioned. And then it starts getting into the insights around the content strategy, right? So simple product demonstrations perform exceptionally well. So it's pulling in the engagement metrics of the videos, pulls out the comments and the emotional hooks, and then it even comes up with some optimal hook formulas. And I can even ask it to make this as an artifact. So it's going to kind of open up the side view over here and put this into kind of a report that's a little bit easier to digest. And it's giving us the analysis here, right? So it looked at 10 TikTok videos, totaled 3.7 million views. And now we have, again, a report here that we could download as a PDF, or we could just copy and paste this and send it to us as an email. But in less than 3 minutes, it was able to go out, scrape a bunch of popular TikTok videos in this specific niche, and generate a crazy detailed report. Again, we can use this in our messaging, with our ads, and our marketing. By the way, if you want access to all of my AI workflows for free, be sure to hop into my free school community, AI Automation Made Easy. So this is basically AI for marketing and paid ads. We've got a bunch of paid media managers, creative strategists, agency owners, and growth marketers inside. Nearly 3,000 folks in here right now. Not only that, I've got a classroom full of free templates and N8N files. So again, if you want access to these templates for free, be sure to hit up the free community. All right, so how do we set this up inside of Claude? Now, I'm not gonna lie, it is somewhat technical, but it's easy to follow, and you only have to set it up once. Now, before we even get started, there are 3 things that you need. So number one is this thing called Node.js. It's just a piece of software that you download on your computer. Chances are you already have it. If you don't, or if you are not sure, you can download it here on nodejs.org, and you just click on this Get Node.js. The second thing that you need is Claude Desktop. So this is able to run through the desktop app, not the web app. So you can download Claude Desktop for free on this page over here. And then the third thing that you're going to need is a free Apify account. So Apify is a collection of web scrapers. So in the example that I showed before, I was using a specific scraper, this TikTok scraper that went out and scraped all of these videos. And so what Apify allows us to do is connect to these different web scrapers inside of Claude. And again, you can get started with a free account. All right, with all that said, once you are logged into your Claude desktop, the first thing that you need to do, you're not going to see it on my screen because I have already done it. But in the help window, what you will see is something that says enable developer mode. Again, I've already checked it on, so I can't get it back. But you need to click on the drop down that says enable developer mode. Once you've done that, you want to go to Claude and then settings. And now what you'll see is this developer section down here. Now your screen is going to look a little bit different than mine again, because mine is set up. But what you want to find is a button that says edit config. And when you click on that button, it's going to open up something on your desktop that's going to go directly to a file that looks like this. So it's this configuration file. Now, what you want to do with this file is you want to right click it and you want to open with a text editor. So on my Mac, I've got the Notes app, I've got the text edit app. I'm going to use the text edit. So what happens when I open that up is it's going to open up a blank text edit file that says Claude desktop config.json. Now, don't worry, I'm going to tell you exactly what to paste into this file. So I'll leave this Google document hopefully below this video. And what you can do is copy all of this and then go back to your text file. And again, yours is going to say Claude desktop config. I'm just using a blank text file here because mine's already filled in. So you're going to paste yours in, and there are a couple of changes that you need to make. Now, the most important one is this Apify token. So this is your personal API key that Apify uses to verify that you are actually you. And I've masked my key here, but what you're going to want to do is delete what is in between these two quotes here where it says Apify API, your API key. And we're going to go back into Apify and you're going to get your API key to paste in here. So again, you're signed up for an Apify account. When you go into settings and then API and integrations, this is your API key that you want to keep secret. And you can copy that to your clipboard, come back to your text edit file, and you want to paste it right in between those two quotes. I'm not going to paste mine because it will reveal my secret key, but you want to paste yours right between those quotes. And again, it should match your API key that you copied over. All right, the second thing to be aware of, you don't necessarily have to change this, and really, I suggest if this is your first time, maybe just leaving this as is. But as I mentioned, Apify has a bunch of different scrapers, right? And these are called actors. So what you can see in my template file here for my Claude, I have a couple of different scrapers, right? One that is going to scrape Twitter, one that scrapes Instagram, one that scrapes TikTok, which I showed before, one that scrapes LinkedIn, and then one that scrapes YouTube. So again, if you want to keep it simple, I would just leave this as is, and that's going to allow you to access these different scrapers. But if you want to get creative, let me show you how you can kind of change that file. So if we go into the Apify store, so let's say we wanted to search Google Maps, right? So I would go to see if Apify has a Google Maps scraper, which they do, right? So I just search for Google Maps, and there's a couple of options here. This one has 137,000 users. So let's say I wanted to add Google Maps scraper to Claude, right? I would come in here, and what I need to do is grab this identifier right here. And you can see I can copy that to my clipboard just by clicking copy. Now I can go back into my text file, and if I wanted to add it here, I would just do it to the end, right? So you can see right now, before this quote, we have a YouTube scraper. So I'm just gonna add a comma, and then I'm gonna paste in that Google Maps identifier, right? So and with no spaces, right? So you can see this is what I just added, the compass, crawler, Google Places, which matches this ID. So what this now means is that when I save this file, Claude, my Claude, will now have access to a Google Maps scraper as well. Now, when you're done with your text edit file, right, your Claude desktop config file, all you have to do is save it, right? So hit Control Save, and then you can X out of the file. All right, once you've saved that file, what I recommend doing is quitting Claude entirely. Again, you're on Claude desktop. So quit the application entirely, reopen it, right? That gives Claude a chance to reset and sync with the MCP server for Apify. And now what you should see when you open up Claude again fresh is this setting down here, which is search and tools. Now, when you open that up, you can see I have a couple of different connections here, but the ones that we just added is this one here. It's called Actors MCP Server, which is the Apify connection. And if you click on that little arrow, you can toggle on and off the different actors or the different scrapers, right? So these are the ones that I have installed initially. Remember that tweet scraper, Instagram scraper, TikTok scraper, LinkedIn scraper, and YouTube scraper. And you can see these are all toggled on, which means if I instruct Claude to use it, it will be able to use that scraper. Now, just a couple of notes. When you're wanting Claude to use a specific scraper, just be specific, right? If you want it to scrape Twitter, say use the Twitter scraper. If you want to get even more specific, you can say use the API dojo / tweet scraper, so it knows exactly which scraper to use. The other final note is if you are on a free Claude plan, it's possible you're going to get rate limited. You may see some errors just because your account is going to time out possibly before Apify can finish the scrape. So if you're serious about doing this, I do recommend upgrading to a paid Claude plan.